Hi, and welcome to the edgy day of our painting challenge. Today, I'm going to help you with edges. I'm going to talk a little bit about edges, how to control them, how to use them, how to not use them, just some ideas about edges. And for today's image, what I've got up here are clouds, and clouds are full of soft and hard edges, so I thought it would be a good one to go with. I'm going to wet this down to start with, but I'm not going to use retarder. I'm just going to use a bit of medium and water because I want it to dry towards the end. I've only got 20 minutes, so I want it to dry towards the end. So that's my plan with this one. I've got my little thumbnail here. Even though it's just clouds, I still want to have some sort of idea of, how I'm going to arrange things, values, shapes, and that's good to go. This is good to go. I've got my paint out. The only thing I've got different for this one is I've got ultramarine blue, and that's it. I just put out some ultramarine blue, which I haven't used yet. But we'll give you a list of all the supplies, and you will know what I used in each one. Okay, so now I have to reset my clock. Start. Okay, 20 minutes, off to the races. So this is a little bit of medium. And the medium is mostly just gloss, a little bit of matte, and a little bit of water. There's no formula. And I just want to wet this down. Now again, I want to start with the biggest brush I can. And this is probably one of the best ways to control your edges is to paint into wet, either medium, water, wet paint, something. Because that way you can soften an edge quite easily. If you live somewhere where it's really dry and your paint dries quickly, it's really hard to keep control over it to try and soften edges. So you want to do this over and over and over again. It gets kind of repetitive. You wet it down. It dries, and then you have to dry it and wet it down. But that's acrylic. That's what it does. Okay. Again, I want to paint the biggest shapes, and then work my way to the smallest shapes. So I've got a big mid-tone value all up through here. Then a dark in the sky, so I'm going to do that later. Mid-tone and dark down in the bottom. So big stuff first. Now I don't want the clouds to be blue, and I don't want them to be orange. I want them to be kind of a warm color in the middle. This is a gray, so I'm mixing up a gray, and I'm controlling it by using some cad red, cobalt blue, ultramarine blue. So I'm starting out with kind of that's not dark enough. I need to go a little deeper. Mid-tone. Now I want this to change. I don't want it to be the same everywhere, so I'm going to vary it a little bit. So I'm painting an edge when I paint into this now. I'm going to paint into it here and there. I don't want it to change too much. And part of what happens is the paint does its own thing. When I come down lower, I want it to go grayer, a little warmer. A little more. It's too yellow. When you paint up and down vertical like this and it's wet, obviously everything's going to run downhill. Water goes downhill no matter what you do. So it's going to dry from the top down. So to some degree, because I've only got 20 minutes for one thing, but the other thing is I've got to finish it from the top down. So that's kind of a gray. A bit of a cooler gray, but a gray. Back to what I had there. So I want this to run off. A lot of what happens is in painting is the paint does its own thing. And you get in the way. So what you don't want to do is get in the way. You want to let the paint do what the paint does well. And then you do what you can do to make your paintings better. That's another good thing of having 20 minutes to do a painting is you don't have time to go fiddle everything to death. Okay. So this is all somewhat semi-transparent. I used opaque paint, but I painted it thinly so that you can see through it. Let me see, I'll use. Now down the bottom, I'm going to do this. So I've got dioxazine, purple, and some cad red. I just want to block in some stuff down there. I want to have this vary a bit, so I'm going to take some of this. And this is painting an edge. It changes from one to the other just by painting into it while it's wet. Okay. Now I want to start getting some of this in. This is ultramarine blue, just straight ultramarine blue. And this should still be wet enough. I know in the end I want that a lot darker, so I'm making it darker up here. So now, as I come down, through the sky. I want it to get lighter, as you can see. That's what it does in there, and I like that effect. So again, this is an edge going all the way through. So I'm going to switch. Now maybe before I do that, I'm going to paint up into here because I want this to be soft. Like I said, I got to finish it from the top down. So I have to finish up there and then work my way down. Especially on this side, that side's going to be different. Oh. I get 10 seconds back for that. Oh, maybe I need more than 10 seconds. Uh-oh. Don't try this at home. Technical malfunction. All right, we're having more than one. Now I'm going to pause the timer. All right, so I had a bit of a slip in the thing. I reset the clock at 11 minutes because that's about where I was, and I taped it back on again. So now I'm back in business. I'm trying to keep working into it while it's wet. So one of the issues working into it while it's wet is important to keep the quality of the edges. All right. So again, as I said, as I come down, I'm going to make it a bit lighter. In this case, I'm going to add white to it. White to phthalo blue, or ultramarine blue, sorry. So again, I paint that up into it, let the edge soften. And if this is wet, which it's not, see it didn't soften in there? So I'm going to have to paint that back into it, which is okay. What happened to my timer now? Stupid. Everything was going so well there for a while. Keep rolling. This is a timer issue. Thank you. All right. I'm back at 11 minutes. I thought I hit start. Maybe I forgot to hit start. I've gained 30 seconds on you. Okay. Bit of an issue with the, I want to keep that gradation going down. I want that soft, I want that soft. It's important that it's soft. This has to be soft. Okay. And then gray it slightly. Okay, now down into the lower part. Oops. In a second, I'm just going to go up here. Now in this case, I'm going to drag my brush because it's dry. So as you can see, what happens there is where it's dry, if I drag my brush, sometimes I use my fingers as well. I'll just soften an edge by rubbing it. So you get kind of a dry brush effect. That should soften it. Now down into the lower part. I don't want it there we go. Too much. So this has just a little bit of color in it, pigment. So you get the sense of it. I'm going to paint a little bit into there to get that lower part of the cloud. So this is the ultramarine in red. And I'm going to add white to it. Are you kidding me? Interruptions. I have to call him back. I thought I had it off. All right, I just want to get a little bit of this deeper value in here. Down to 5 minutes here. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. Painting's fallen off. So you get the sense of the change in the cloud. Okay. Into every painting, you need some oomph. Oomph is color or interest. In this case, I'm going to put some green in here. Add a little bit of red and yellow to that. And again, to drag the brush, just to let it break up a little bit. Now I want some real darks down in here. This, I'm going to leave that. That's more or less reads as a dark value, so that's what I wanted. If I have time, I'll fiddle the edge a bit, but I want to have some of the darks down there. So, here's some dioxazine violet, some black, which is dried up, so I'm going to go with the red, or the brown, there we go. And a widow brush. 3 minutes. About 3 minutes. And this thing that's dark in the bottom is important because it gives it a sense of depth. And again, I'm just dragging the brush a little bit here and there to give the sense of these bushes and stuff. How much time do I got left? Oh, I got some time to paint some white in. So, if I got some straight white, nope, have to go to the well. And if I run out of time, it's not going to get done. Yeah. Somebody stole my white. All right. It's going to be almost white. So again, just dragging the brush. And that's it. Even with all the problems. So that's 20 minutes, right? And you can see, you know, it looks a little bit like that thing. Oh, how do you make this thing stop? There we go. It looks like that. Looks like my thumbnail. I did it more in a square format, but you get the idea. So that's Edges. Thanks for watching, and share with our Facebook group. I hope you found this information useful. And I have a handout called How to Fix Your Painting, and you can get it by clicking on the link below. And thank you for watching.